Welcome, welcome, welcome. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in on today. And today, guys, I'm back again with a reminder, but also to give you some information that's very important. It's going to help you to be able to determine quickly if someone has issued you or is trying to issue you an illegal residency in the country of Ghana, or and you should know if you're getting an illegal residency, but for others who may not know, okay? For others who may not know, there are people now who are sharing that they are legal residents of Ghana and that they've gotten their residency permit and they're showing their residency permit. Others are having, problems in a number of areas with immigration, overstays. Guys, this stuff is serious. You can get deported, you can be imprisoned, illegal migration to any country. And I think this whole thing coming out of America is stirring people up internationally, globally, to either make changes, because they figure they need to make changes, which I've always felt that African immigration, especially in recent years, is much tougher than American immigration, much tougher, right? And so when we see the changes going on in America, then other countries are also either making adjustments in response to that, because they already had tougher immigration laws to move to an African country than we did in America. And also some of them may be retaliating. Okay, so you don't want to get caught in the middle of that. So as the laws currently stand, make sure you are in right standing with those laws. And so today I want to talk to you about how to know the difference between a fake Ghana residency and a real one, because some of y'all getting real documents that say you're a resident, but it is an illegal residency. It's fake, it's fraud. If you are audited, it will be canceled. You could be deported. You could be imprisoned. So many things can happen. And so coming to Africa, first of all, or any country, without knowing the laws of that country is not good. Okay? Take time to do your research. Some people say we should leave our American thinking behind. No, bring your American thinking with you. Okay? As it pertains to not trusting anyone. The thinking that says, I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm not going to just take someone's word. I'm going to go and search and see if what they're telling me is true, like a Berean in the scripture. So today I want to talk about illegal residencies in Ghana. They have their documents, they have their paperwork, but honey, that residency, those residencies, and it's more than one person. There's several people who are now touting their residencies, but they're illegal. And I'm going to show you, according to the laws of Ghana, how to identify a correct residency. And anything other than that is not legit. They paid for it, but it's not legitimate. It's not according to the laws of Ghana. All right, so you should be familiar with this page, right? This is Ghana Immigration Services. And let me just prove to you from their page that according to the laws of Ghana, you cannot own property. You cannot buy a house. You cannot build a home. You cannot buy land unless you are a resident of Ghana. So guys, please stop sending your money and purchasing land. Please stop buying land unless you have decided to become a resident of Ghana. Move to Ghana if that's what you desire, or make steps to move to Ghana. Find out what the laws are and become a resident if that's what you want. But I'm going to show you, it's very expensive. And there are annual expenses. Very expensive. All right. So opening a bank account, acquiring property and investments. This is from the Ghana Immigration Services website. A foreigner who intends to acquire property, that includes lands and houses, or investments in Ghana, will need to have a work permit. The same is required before a foreigner can open a personal or business bank account with any of the banks in Ghana. Now, I will say that some banks will accept your Ghana card to do that, and even the Lands Commission will accept your Ghana card. But that's not according to the law. According to Ghana Immigration, and Ghana Immigration is under the Minister of Interior, and they decide whether you stay in the country or not. And you don't want to build a house for somebody else to live in. So let me show you what the Ghana immigration law is and how to tell whether or not someone has a real or fake residency. It's on legal document, but it is not legal. Okay. To be a resident of Ghana, this is the Ghana Immigration Services. This is the latest post that they have made concerning fees. However, when you speak to them on the phone, they say that these fees have changed, and I can tell you that some of them have. All right, which is not good. They need to keep the fee schedule up to date. It is very confusing, and it's not good to have old totals here, fee schedule here, and people are going by this. But this one is at the 10.5 to 1, meaning 10.5 Ghana to 1 US dollar rate. All right, so in order to be a resident of Ghana, you must be either a student. Okay, so here's how you tell if someone is a legal resident of Ghana. You ask them, okay, are you a student? If they say no, okay, say, are you an NGO, such as a missionary? And if they say no, do you have like a charity or anything that you started? If they say no, say, okay, are you a part of the GIPC program? All right, GIPC is one of the businesses structures that you can use to set up your business in Ghana. If they say no, they're not a part of GIPC. And let me show you what it takes to be a part of the GIPC. One moment. It's not cheap. Once again, as I've said, guys, it is not cheap. If you want to be a part of the GIPC program in Ghana, which is a business investment plan, foreign investors are required to comply with the GIPC Act of 2013, Act 865, regarding minimum foreign capital requirements either in cash or capital goods relevant to the investment. So that means your capital goods. If you say, okay, I'm bringing in, a very expensive car, but if that car is not used to provide services with that business or relevant to the services and goods supplied by that business, it doesn't count. All right, so you have to have the money in cash or in capital goods relevant to the investment, or a combination of both by way of equity participation. The breakdown is as follows. So you need US $200,000 for joint ventures with a Ghanaian partner having not less than 10%. So the Ghanaian partner will own 10% of your company, and guess what? He also has to show that he has she has $20,000 in equity or assets or capital or cash. Okay, then also $500,000 if you want to own the company yourself and it's a service company. So you need $500,000, okay, if you have a service company. Or if it is a retail company such as a store or something of that sort, it says here trading. So if you have a store, general trading companies, you have to have a minimum of 20 skilled workers who are Ghanaians, and by the way, $1 million. Okay, so it's not cheap, guys. It is not cheap by a long shot. So if someone says that they have this, that they have a residency under a business, ask them if they paid any of those fees. Okay, and these fees have to be deposited into Ghanaian bank accounts, 2 corporate accounts, a foreign and a local bank account, or you can transfer it by, wire transfer, or you can bring physical cash, but they require this money in order for you to operate in Ghana legally. Okay, now going back to the requirements. So if they're not a student, they're not a part of some charity or missionary group. All right, and these are annual fees. These are not one-time fees. These are annual fees. Okay, they must have be a part of GIPC or the immigrant quota. They say they're no longer offering the immigrant quota. Okay, so that option is not possible. Okay, but sometimes if you talk to someone, they may offer it to you. So it just depends on who you speak to, right? But that also has additional fees, more than what you're seeing here. Okay, the residency permit for dependents. So if the person is a dependent, then they qualify for a residency permit. That could be a child, that could be a parent who is 60 years or older, but someone who is your legal dependent. Or shareholders, it doesn't appear that they're doing this, providing this permit anymore. Okay, or they have to own a company, and I just showed you the cost of owning a company in Ghana. Now, there are other programs that you can participate in, such as Free Zone, but that's also with thousands of dollars in fees. Let me show you that so you can know I'm not just talking. All right. Free zone is where you are exporting goods out of the country, right? You are sending goods out of the country of Ghana, and you have to export at least 70% of what you make. So whatever you are manufacturing or making or services that you're providing, 70% of that has to come from outside, or you have to export it outside. Okay, so you have to talk to them about this. But as you can see, for enterprise licenses, it's these are the fees for enterprise licenses. If you are doing some development work, then you need a developer license, and this is the annual license. Okay, so there's a license fee of $5,000. All right, to renew it is $4,000. If you're an enterprise, it depends on the type of enterprise. So it's going to cost you anywhere from this $3,000, and then there's another $200 fee plus, guys, your residency fees as well also are added into this. So this is not just the only fee. You can't just say, oh, I'll just pay the $3,200. No, there are additional fees that go along with this. You have to get your business set up now. This is just to be a part of the free zone opportunities that they have. This is not actually registering your business, which is going to cost more money, in the thousands, plus your actual permit, which is an annual fee, plus any fees for medical charges annually. That's also a fee. Let me go there as well. The annual fee for medical exams currently is 2,700 Ghana, which is about $270 annually. It used to be $140 annually. All right. And then, once again, your permit fee, which is annual, along with any other associated fees. Now, if you say, okay, I'm going to work for a company, I'm going to partner with a Ghanaian, and they already have their company. Well, that Ghanaian has to have $50,000 in assets before they can invite you. All right, either cash or assets. This is Ghana's law. Anything else that someone shows you is illegal. They may have the legal document in their hand, in their passport, but I am telling you, according to the laws of Ghana, their residency is illegal. It is against the laws of Ghana, and Ghana is cracking down on this. They are also cracking down on people who have, Ghana passports, citizens who did not qualify for citizenship. You see a lot of talk about them cracking down on Nigerians who have passports that say that they're Ghanaian, and they're not Ghanaians. They had Ghanaians to come and vouch for them and say that they can tell you that that person is a Ghanaian, but they have no evidence that they're Ghanaian. In fact, all the evidence proves that they are Nigerian or some other nationality. They are cracking down on this. Do not sit and listen to anyone who is telling you that you can become a resident of Ghana. You just do this, you bring these people, you bring that person, and they pay this. Some of you have paid fees twice, okay? Twice. And then when you get back there to pick up your passport, you pay for 2 years, they only give you one. You pay for 5 years, they only give you one. All right, stop it. Don't fall for the uniform. Follow the laws of Ghana. And don't think you're going to get any recourse, okay? That's just going to open up a can of worms, and I guarantee you they will kick you out. So the number one thing you need to stop doing is stop buying land and you're not a resident of Ghana. Stop building houses and you're not a resident of Ghana. Stop buying land and building houses and you haven't even been to Ghana. Okay, let's start there. Okay, and then find out if this is for you. For those of us who are business minded, right now Ghana is not really business friendly. It's not. Okay. Now, I've heard recently that the president is trying to make some adjustments to make Ghana more business friendly. And, but the numbers that I've heard being called are still around the $100,000, $50,000 range. If you're coming from the West, you know that it's small moms and pops businesses that run the American economy. It's not major corporations. We have major corporations, but they do not run or fund the American economy. It's the small moms and pops restaurants, pharmacies, bakeries, dress shops, hair salons, nail salons. It's those businesses that are paying taxes and funding the American economy. And that's what Ghana is going to have to do if they're really going to see any change in the growth of Ghana's economy. Give people a chance to do business. We don't need to be residents. I know for myself, I don't need to be a resident or a citizen of Ghana to do business. I shouldn't. And if you come to America, you don't even have to come to America. You can sit in Ghana and get a business license to do business in America. Some of the business licenses are completely free for major cities, okay? Some of them are free the first year and you pay the second year. They want you to use all your money and put that into growing your business, not into paying fees. And so Ghana is trying to reset, and these are some of the things that they need to take on. All right. Really study business in America and other countries where businesses are growing in the West. All right. And here on the continent, see how those economies are growing. They grow with moms and pops businesses. They do not grow with major corporations. So guys, I can only advise myself and you to follow the law when dealing with Ghana. Stay out of trouble. Don't waste your money because they are auditing these residencies and citizenship. And if they call you in and they find out that your citizenship and your residency is illegal, they will revoke it. They will cancel it. They don't care what you have built, what you have spent, what you have invested in as far as, making your life here on the continent. If you're operating a business, there are some people, there's another group who have started businesses, invested in businesses and set them up only to find that they cannot operate those businesses because they're not residents of Ghana. So please don't fall for the trap. I don't care who is presenting it. And those of you who are presenting it, stop. You are fully aware of it, but you're failing and refusing to inform the people because now you have gotten yourself in a situation where you need to sell your land. You need to sell these properties that you have negotiated with chiefs and other people, or your own personal financial goals. Your own personal financial goals. You don't care about the loss that you're going to cause other people. There are people who are being sued. I'm telling you, sued. How do I know? I've seen it with my own eyes. But because many of you do not know what to look for or what you're seeing sometimes when you see certain things, Ghanaians know because they're Ghanaians. They know. They know when something is written on your house. They know when you got stickers on your walls. They know that something is going on. You're being called into court over your property. But they don't tell you. Okay? So please do your homework. And honestly, you cannot do your homework easily in Ghana. You can't. The number one thing you need to decide is if you want to be a resident of Ghana. If you don't want to pay all those fees to be a resident in Ghana, but you want to be in Ghana, consider, traveling back and forth. Consider other countries that will allow you to gain access to Ghana. All right. So this is all I want to share. I hope it helps. I know that the information is helpful, but it's up to those who really want to do the right thing to take it and to learn from it and apply it. All right. If you already started, all I can say is stop and decide what you're going to do. There's a scripture that says, a wise man sees trouble coming and hides himself. But fools see that same trouble coming and they continue on. They just continue on, head on to the trouble that's coming towards them. Don't be a fool. Be wise. Even if you have to cut your losses, be wise. Shalom.